Okay, guys, so this is not going to happen. Hi everyone and welcome to Diane and the Written Words, where I post videos about books and about language, sometimes about both. My August TBR isn't going to happen, I know that, but I have classified the books that I want to read by order of priority, and there'll probably be changes. I don't anticipate reading all of them, but I got into a bit of a spree of signing up for book clubs because it's one of the things that I really wanted to get into. And yeah, it's just what it is. So I'll get into it. My first kind of category are a couple of books that I am anticipating finishing, if not in their entirety, at least most of the book, by the time we get into August. So that would be Animals in Translation by Temple Grandin and Kathleen Johnson. I'm about 2/3 of the book, and what I'm using as a bookmark is a comb. Why not? I just read everywhere and I put things in the book instead of using my actual bookmarks that I do own. Anyway, yeah, so I'm about 2/3 of the book in. I do want to make a video specifically talking about Temple Grandin and how her understanding of animals can shape the way that we understand humans, and humans in the autistic spectrum, but also neurotypical humans and anywhere in between. And also with a couple of points that I think she draws that are very interesting because we can use them in order to either improve our languages or learn a foreign language. So I'll probably talk about this book a little bit in my wrap up for August, but I really do want to take it out and do a dedicated video because there's a lot of thoughts around this. But basically, this is Temple Grandin telling us how animals behave and how they compare to autistic people, and kind of research that is involved with human brain development and animals' brain development. One of the weirdest things here, which I would very much like someone to tell me about in the comments, is that she seems to think that there are different categories and that animals are in one of them, and then you have insects in a different category that's not within animals, and then you have birds also in a different category. That is never the way I've understood it. It's never the way I've been taught in biology courses. So what's up with that? I don't know if it's her or if it's the English language that is a little bit weird by putting, it's almost like she's using the term animal as a synonym of mammal sometimes. Anyway, that's just one thought. The book itself is really interesting though, and I'd highly recommend it if you're interested in psychology, brain development, I don't know, neurodiversity in humans, all that kind of good stuff. The other book that I'm definitely going to finish, probably by the beginning of August, is Thin Explainer, Complicated Stuff in Simple Words by Randall Munroe. I only have a few pages left for that one, but because I don't read it very often, it's still there. I'm also reading it in my computer, so after working with my computer all day, I don't always want to go to the computer and get my eyes exposed to more glaring lights. So, that's probably why it's been so slow, because actually it's really interesting from a linguistics point of view and also from a science point of view. And I think because science and technology is everywhere, it's also interesting from a human point of view. And then I've just got Matilda from Roald Dahl from the library in audiobook. Apparently it's narrated by Kate Winslet. Is that a thing? I never knew that. But anyway, I just got it, but it's only 4 hours, and I think I'll probably be half of the way in by the time in 3 days. Today's the 28th of July. So by the time August starts, I'll probably be done with that one as well. I've also read it before. It's a big favorite of mine from childhood. So it's probably a book that I want to be slow reading, but I'll probably be quite fast because it's going to be easy, it's going to be enjoyable, and I'm going to get into it. I also haven't listened to an audiobook in quite a long time because now I don't have a commute, and because usually when I do things around the house, I'm listening to podcasts. So I think I'm going to enjoy going back to audiobook form for Matilda. And now we get to the social part of this TBR that gave the title for the video. And that's because I feel like this is a theme in my month because I've never participated in a read along before. I've done a couple of book clubs, but never a read along. And this month I have signed up for 2 read alongs and possibly a book club. The first read along I'm participating into is for the Count of Monte Cristo, which I'm reading in original version. So I'm reading Le Comte of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. And I'm reading that on archive.org, which I keep mentioning. I'm not affiliated to them. I don't get any money from them, but I really think it's a very good resource that not many people seem to know about. So check that out. You get lots of books, but also you get things in other languages. So for me, living in England is really great to get, in this case, a book in French. Also a book that's over 1,000 pages long. So that brings me to the part that's unrealistic about my TBR, but also to the fact that having it in physical form might be a bit of a struggle. So reading it on a screen has its perks in this case. So the Count of Monte Cristo's read along is happening in Instagram, and we have a group chat for it. And it's hosted by Mrs. Ma, a house full of books, and Books for C. And I'll leave links down below so that you can check it out if you want. Basically, what happens is that they add you to the group chat and they have a schedule and they're preparing questions and things. It sounds really interesting. So I'm fully into that. And I also chose to participate in this because The Count of Monte Cristo is one of my books from the scratch bucket list. And I feel like with a book of those dimensions, I need a bit of motivation to get into it. Although I've heard really, really good reviews of this book. So it might be easier than I think. Length is not the only thing. If it's really enjoyable, it might not be as hard. And that would probably be my book by a Black author for this month. I'm reading books by Black authors every month. And I didn't get to read Black Leopard, Red Wolf by Marlon James last month. I want to get into it, but I already have The Count of Monte Cristo. And when you see the way that my TBR looks, I don't know if I can squeeze it in. The second read along I'm participating into is for Dune by Frank Herbert, and that is hosted in YouTube. And we also have a Discord channel and a few other channels to be part of this read along, and it's hosted by Mikey Fernandez. And so I'll also leave things so that you can find it, and it's in Spanish. I have here, I don't think you can see. No, I don't think it shows in the camera, but I've marked the pages and I'm really excited. When I was doing the BookTube newbie tag the other day, I mentioned that I read some sci-fi, and I actually mentioned and then edited out the fact that Dune is a big favorite of mine and that I was looking forward to rereading it. And then a couple of days later, I came across this announcement of a read-along, so I couldn't be happier about this one. And then my third possible book club is one that's happening at work right now, and that's to read Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. And I don't know if I'll get to it or not because I've ordered it from the library, but this book, as I'm sure everyone's aware, is everywhere in social media, and I have requested it from the library, but I don't know if it'll arrive in time, really. But if it does, I might attempt it. Again, that's another tome, and I already have The Count of Monte Cristo, and Dune isn't particularly short either. Then my next category of things that I want to get into are things that I've ordered from the library. So once I have them, I always try to prioritize those books because I don't want other people to have to wait for them. And I'm not very good at making decisions like forgetting about reading some books. I always cling into the hope that I'm going to get to it. So that creates a little bit of tension in my mind. But What I have from the library is A Conjuring of Light from V. Schwab. I've been reading the trilogy of Dark Shades of Magic, and I read the first book in June, the second in July, so it's only fitting that I get to this in August. But it's not looking good, guys. It's not looking good. I think for the month of August, don't expect much from this channel because I'll just do snappy short videos, which probably will do better than these really long lists of books, because I'll be reading. That's what I'm going to be doing. So anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to these, not just for the experience of reading it, but also I would like to be able to say something more. I feel like in my wrap up for last month, it was really like I didn't know how to get my words out because it's so difficult to review something or to talk about something when I don't know if my questions are going to be answered. So far, I'm really enjoying the world building. I like the writing style. I like the pace. Although I don't know, sometimes it's a little bit slow, but I like the writing style so much that even when it's slow, I'm like, yeah, just it's fine. I'm just into it anyway. I want to see more women characters and I want to see more variety of women and maybe not for Lillibard to be just this really badass woman and for her to have a bit more layers, but I don't know, we'll see. I also hope that there isn't going to be much romance, which there's been hints of, and they read really clickbaity to me. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion, it might very well be. Bear in mind that before I got to these books, I haven't heard about them, I haven't seen any reviews, so this is very much just my newbie thoughts about this trilogy and about V. Schwab as well, because it's the first books that I read of her. So don't be too hard on me. I'm learning, I'm experiencing these books for the first time. Next book from the library, Tales of the Unexpected by Roald Dahl. Roald Dahl is better known for children literature, but I actually really like what I've read of his for adults. So I read My Uncle Oswald last year. It's super weird. It's super, I don't know, politically incorrect, I guess. He's just out there. And it was very entertaining, though. And Tales of the Unexpected is a book that I read about 20 years ago. I was 10. It was around my house, and my parents absolutely loved it. And it's a short story collection. He really has a skill for short stories. He makes you get into the characters super quick and into the plot, and then you, as the title says, you don't expect those twists that he puts into the stories. And they end up really being very shocking and very funny as well. It's really funny from what I remember from 20 years ago. So I'm really looking forward to this. And also, I've heard there's a TV show or a series or something. So I'll have a look later. If it turns out all right, I might do a vlog about this. I don't know. I'll be reading anyway, so I won't have time for vlogs or anything. And then I've got two books from the library as well that I requested like months ago, so I don't remember where I got the recommendations. And that is The Chalk Man from C.J. Tudor, that might have been from Books and Lala. And the other one is Lock Every Door from Riley Sager. Again, I think I have seen that somewhere, social media maybe, but I don't remember. And I don't remember what got me into choosing those. But those are two more that I have that I intend to read. And then finally, there's the one book that I actually own of this whole list of books, which is one that I didn't get to last month. I didn't get to a lot of the books, but this one I definitely want to get into it. I've already shown it in my channel a couple of times, so bear with me. I will finish it. I will read this no matter what. And that's The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks by Rebecca Skloot. I want to reconnect with my scientific self, and I have used healer cells, and I want to know where they come from. That's why. I've also heard it's a really good book, but I am actually interested in the origin of these cells. I didn't want to give a lot of details on these books because it's a really long list and I don't want to bore people. But but you'll be hearing more about my struggle. And that's all I have today. So let me know in comments what your plans look like for August. What do you think is actually going to happen? What do you think is going to happen to my TBR? And if you've read any of these books, if you've hated any of these books, I'd be particularly interested in it because then I can prioritize things. But that's all I have today. So I'll see you next time.